The First Holy War, when Muslims and Christians collided in the year 1095, beneath the vaulted ceilings of a cathedral in Clermont, France, a moment occurred that would change the world forever. His message would echo through kingdoms and deserts, over mountains and seas, igniting a fire that would burn for centuries. Thus began the First Crusade, a religious war, a clash of civilizations, the first great collision between Christianity and Islam on a global scale. In the 7th century, a prophet emerged in the Arabian desert. But this was not merely conquest by the sword. Under the Umayyads and later the Abbasids, Islamic civilization flourished. Science, medicine, philosophy, architecture, the Muslim world became a beacon of learning, while Europe, still reeling from the fall of Rome, languished in what many historians call the Dark Ages. Meanwhile, the Christian world, divided between the Latin West and the Greek East, began to consolidate its spiritual power. The Roman Catholic Church, led by the Pope, sought to expand its influence. And in 1054, the Great Schism split Christendom into two rival branches, Eastern Orthodoxy in Constantinople and Roman Catholicism in Rome. As these tensions simmered, a new force rose in Central Asia, the Seljuk Turks. Fierce, devout, and militarily disciplined, the Seljuks converted to Islam and rapidly expanded into the Middle East. In 1071, they dealt a devastating blow to the Byzantine Empire at the Battle of Manzikert, capturing much of Anatolia. Constantinople was shaken. The Eastern Roman Emperor, Alexios I Komnenos, sent a desperate plea to the West: send help. Pope Urban II saw opportunity, not just to defend Eastern Christians, but to unify Christendom under his spiritual leadership. He called a great council at Clermont in 1095. Nobles, knights, and bishops gathered to hear his sermon. What they heard was a thunderclap of righteousness. Urban described atrocities committed against Christian pilgrims in the Holy Land, many exaggerated or fabricated. He invoked the suffering of Eastern brethren and the desecration of holy sites. Then he made his appeal. Deus vult, he cried. God wills it. With that, the Crusades were born. Across Europe, thousands heeded the call. Lords mortgaged lands, peasants left farms, criminals were promised absolution. A tidal wave of humanity surged eastward. It was chaos and devotion in equal measure. The first waves were poorly organized. Known as the People's Crusade, they were led by figures like Peter the Hermit, a charismatic preacher with no military experience. These early crusaders lacked supplies, discipline, and strategy. They pillaged Jewish communities in the Rhineland, committing massacres that foreshadowed the dark contradictions of the crusade, a mission of faith corrupted by greed and hate. When they reached Anatolia, most were slaughtered by Turkish forces. But the real crusade followed soon after, led by seasoned knights and nobles. Among them, Raymond of Toulouse, Bohemond of Taranto, Godfrey of Bouillon, and Count Robert of Flanders. Together they commanded tens of thousands of soldiers. Their journey through Byzantine territory was uneasy. Emperor Alexios welcomed them cautiously. He needed their help but feared their ambition. Tensions brewed between East and West. Still, the Crusaders crossed into Muslim lands in 1097 and laid siege to Nicaea, then Antioch, cities of immense strategic and symbolic value. Antioch was a brutal affair. Besieged for months, both sides endured starvation and disease. When the city finally fell, the Crusaders turned on its inhabitants. Blood ran in the streets. Crusader chronicles spoke of divine victory. Muslim accounts described merciless slaughter. It was only the beginning. By 1099, the exhausted yet determined Crusader army reached Jerusalem. The city, under Fatimid Muslim control, was heavily fortified. The siege lasted 5 weeks. What followed was a massacre. Christian soldiers stormed through the city, killing Muslims and Jews alike, men, women, children. Blood, said eyewitnesses, ran knee-deep in the streets. Churches were reclaimed, mosques defiled. The Holy Sepulchre was consecrated with triumph, even as corpses rotted nearby. Jerusalem was now in Christian hands for the first time in over 450 years. The Crusaders established new states: the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Edessa, the Principality of Antioch, and the County of Tripoli. These Crusader states became Christian outposts in a Muslim world. But they were never secure. They were surrounded, outnumbered, and reliant on reinforcements from Europe. Muslim reaction at first was fragmented. The Seljuk Empire was divided, and many Muslim leaders saw the Crusaders as just another group of invaders. But what was truly won? The First Holy War, hailed in the West as a triumph of the faith, left a legacy of suspicion, hatred, and bloodshed. For the Muslim world, the Crusades were an affront, a colonial invasion cloaked in piety. It shaped the Middle East and the West alike. It altered the course of history, and it began with a sermon.